the house of rest.
Been at a place where you were struggling, you had a challenge, and you didn't know what to do, but then somebody, a mentor, came alongside, encouraged you, supported you, made you go through that situation. And when you look back, you're so grateful that they were there, and even help process the challenge you're existing with you. Do you remember that frustration? Imagine what? In this show, Pass It On, we are trying to bring people your way, show you that as a mentor, that there's something you can do to plug in and challenge and encourage somebody who needs your help. In Pass It On, as a show, we are seeking to give wisdom in two areas. One, we want to show you that it is possible for you to plug in a young person's life or an older one. You're a professional, you're a business person, whoever you are, you know you already have wisdom, already. And guess what? There's somebody who needs that wisdom. So we want to show you how you can pass it on. You know what? You can pass it on and leave a legacy. Welcome to Pass It On, a mentorship program and conversation that is seeking to help you as a mentor get all the wisdom you need to be able to journey with people. We realize that there's a very huge need in our generation for people to actually get the wisdom, life, support system so that they can live a better life. What are we trying to do here? We are thinking, and I gave this last time we had a conversation, what if every person above 25 would pick 4 young people and mentor them? And we give that as an idea that we are working with churches and organizations for 2 reasons. Number one, to help them to figure, what does mentorship look like? How do you practically mentor? How do you deliberately invest in a few people? I'll say that more later. One of the biggest questions that most people, when I meet them ask is, how do we begin? How do we mentor? How do we journey with the young people? And for most people, they say, I actually care, I actually want to invest, I am interested in challenging them, but they do not know how exactly, how they should begin or what they should do. And so in the show today, I'm going to talk to you and just run through a couple of conversations about what can you do as a mentor. What does it look like for you to invest deliberately in a young person, and how can you have a start? The first place that you need to remember, young people, and when we say young people, we mean people who want mentorship. They have needs. And one of their biggest needs is fellowship. In fact, I say, in trainings on when mentoring young people, we say young people need 3 things. They need food, they need fun, and they need fellowship. Food. Every time you call a young person and you want them to enjoy a meal with you, one of the things they'll say, sure, because a meal is easy, the focus is not them right now because you're trying to know them, but they can actually be able to enjoy. They love to eat. They love to enjoy a meal. So if you're mentoring and you're thinking of mentoring, hey, call for a cup of tea with a young person. I share my story of soup and motura, as I was mentoring a certain young man. I've done, sleepovers in my house as a way to just help. So basically we're trying to say, look for an avenue where you can eat and connect. Food, for some reason, just meets a huge need. Because if you can fellowship in eating, it's possible to fellowship in many other things. And in the mentorship idea, being able to go, give wisdom, ideas, ask questions as you're enjoying a meal. Second biggest need for a young person is not only just food, is also fun. They want you to be easy and relaxed. And, usually say, and especially for spiritual mentors, if you actually, you love God and you want to see this young person grow in the Lord, don't begin with faith. Begin with, you know what, enjoy, how's life, what are your highlights, what are your challenges, make it interesting. Conversations for young people are huge. In fact, if you bring a conversation, one of the things I always suggest for people to do is, ask them a question and let's discuss. Let's laugh about, mistakes we've done, successes we've had. Make it so much fun. Let them enjoy. Make jokes, share your life stories, weaknesses, failures, things you did wrong, and you start looking like a human being. Now, if you're enjoying a meal and then you're having a conversation with them, they say, "Hey, I think this person is worth connecting to." And then thirdly, fellowship. Get deeper. Deeper in terms of getting to know them, getting to know where they are, getting to know things that are important in their lives. Go deeper in fellowship. In fact, we say we are fellowship. In this life, we are fellows in the same ship. We are traveling together. We have, challenges. We have issues we go through. We have highs and lows. And just being able to create deeper, authentic fellowship with them. Food, fun, fellowship. But then having said all those things, then how do you connect with a young person? What are things you can do if you want to start your mentorship relationships deliberately? And I said last time, young does not mean youth. It could be somebody who you know higher, who you're higher in terms of wisdom or competence or experience, and you want to pour down. So the first place that you begin is you need to begin with love. And I will, in the next episode, share what does love look like. And I'll go deeper into the conversation of how do you really have the heart and love for people so that you can be able to help them? How do you connect with people so that they can be able to enjoy your relationship? How do you love them where they know this person totally cares for me? And I'm going to talk about, I call them 8 C's of true love. All right. Now, for now, how do you connect? The first place of connecting with a young person is this. You need to be, and it's an acronym C, be consistent. One of the biggest needs of a young person is somebody who starts and continues. Every young person is looking for somebody who is always present. And by always present doesn't mean just time, but saying, you know what, if you ever need us to talk, I am present. In fact, we say you need to be consistent in meeting together. You need to be consistent in being able to bring conversation. You need to be consistent in being able to let them know that I'm available for a talk. I am available to, to talk to you regardless of time. I remember mentoring a young person, who was going through, premarital counseling and all that. And he was living in a different town. And, I told him, you can call me anytime over any question. Why? I knew this young man needed somebody that he can ask. When he's going through a turmoil or a season of challenge in their relationship, they needed someone who can talk to them. And I was that person who was present. So you need to be consistent. You need to be committed and dependable to meet. If they want to meet, ensure it happens. If a young person can know that you are totally committed to meeting them and that you are here in this journey, you are doing whatever you need to do so that their lives can become better, you already have won them. You've already connected. See, the next one is O, you need to be open. And open means you need to be authentic. One of the things young people don't like are people who are just too perfect. They never went through issues. And I remember growing up, our parents, are always number one. they never had issues. And they were like, it's like they seamlessly went through this life. But then when a young person realizes, hey, wait a minute, hey, I thought you did not have challenges. You did not go through stuff. They actually think you're an angel. And so you're too perfect for them to share their issues and their struggles. But if they realize you're open, tell them about your goods, places where you went. Like, for example, you're trying to mentor, you're a best couple to some young people who are planning to get married. Talk about the temptations you had, how it was hard for you to just, there are, decisions you made, failures you did, you had when you were starting to journey, conflicts you had. They start to realize, oh, these things are actually very normal. And then they start to say, oh, if this thing is normal, then it is possible for us to actually get assisted. Guess what? They start to realize that you're one person who's authentic and you're honest. You're honest about your feelings. You're honest about what you've gone through. You are actually open to share. Sometimes it can get uncomfortable going into topics you've never gone before. But you can get to that place where you can say, you know what? I am willing to share this truth because it is important for this young person to know. And so I'm going to be open. Your life testimonies, maybe other testimonies of people who did well or they struggled. It is your responsibility to actually be honest. You know what? If you're not honest, you'll be a superficial person. And in mentorship, being superficial doesn't help. Because they say, this person, I think they haven't gotten to the place where they can share their life with me. And Paul, in the Bible says that I not only shared with you wisdom, I opened my life to you as well. Because you need to see practicality. In fact, Paul one time said, follow me as I follow Christ. Jesus did a very good job with the 12 disciples. He used to tell me, tell me, what do you think about this? This is what I think. He'd answer their questions. He was open about his life, what he's gone through, all those things. Very important. So not only in just being consistent, you also need to be able to be open. The third area is nurture. And nurture has to do with you need to be able to provide an atmosphere of acceptance and willingness. Remember, mentorship is like you taking care of a baby, which means you are willing to sacrifice, you are willing to be, to do whatever you need for this person to open up. You're giving your time, you're giving your treasure, you're giving your talent. You're basically doing whatever you need to do, being able to avail your wisdom so that this person can know, I actually care for you. And love is at the heart of nurturing and caring. And in fact, one of the places, where you need to know and remember is that in mentorship, the mentor and the mentee will experience nurture. Because, you'll receive the compliments about, what you're doing as you're getting feedback about your mentorship. You'll also be able to see how well am I doing. You'll get feedback. They'll tell you, well, I like this, I really enjoy this, I like this highlight. And you get to be affirmed in your work of mentoring. But then you're also nurturing them. Because remember, you're sharing your life, your wisdom, and they get to see, oh, there are gaps in my life. And this person is actually allowing me not to repeat my mistakes. They are feeding and giving me an opportunity to do a better job, to make better decisions because they actually care. So, nurture. And nurture is huge because if a baby needs to feed, they are fed. If a mentee needs your wisdom, you're present. It's a call, it's a relationship, it's figuring out where they are, it's an ongoing process. The next one is notice. And notice is not very complicated. It's like tuning into each other. When you have a friend who you know for a while, two things happen. Sometimes they don't need to speak for you to know what they are saying. You can be able to say, this person is actually okay. Or this person today is not okay. Tune into their feelings. Have you connected with where they are, the struggles they are facing, hesitations in their sharing? How are they reacting? What are their nonverbal saying? Because sometimes a young person wants to connect with you, but if you don't notice they had a high and they have a low, then you have a challenge. They'll say, I think this person doesn't seem to understand me. And one of the things we say is what? You can look at a young person or someone you're mentoring. You can look at how they display their emotions. You can tell when they are disappointed, when they are happy, when they are doing. And by that, we are simply saying you've connected with them to such a level that it is easier for you to know and notice. Are they okay? Are they happy? When a young person or a mentee realizes that you are huge on you know, you have emotional intelligence, you are able to, to empathize with them, you're able to sympathize with where they are, they actually will connect more with you. Because you're trying to say, how do I connect with a young person? So are they a young person who you're journeying with and you can tell they were doing very well, they were happy, all of a sudden they are quiet, they are not talking, they look a bit distant, they are plugged out. Don't wait for them to come. Don't say, you know what, you when you're ready, come. It's actually, we say in mentorship, one of the principles is initiate. Initiate that relationship, initiate follow-up, initiate nurture, initiate notice. Tell them, I can notice that we said you're going to do this and you haven't done. You notice that, you look very happy and now you don't. Notice. If you can be consistent, if you can be open, if you can nurture and you can notice, you're already doing a very good job in being able to connect. We're going to take a small break, and when we come back, we're going to be able to go through how do you then, what are the other three things? And then beyond that, how do we make sure we are passing on? Where can we begin that relationship practically after figuring out what connection looks like?
Stay tuned to Nisi Television.
DJ Pankras.
Hello, what's up, good people? This is to introduce to you the newest show in town, My Generation, My Assignment. With me, Sharon Kamau, and the best gospel DJ.
Tumeuona mkono wake Bwana.
So kama kawaida, you can call me the DJ Pangras.
Which will be airing on Nisi TV every Saturday starting from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. whereby we'll bring to you back-to-back music, upcoming artists and great ministers of the word. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Nisi Television, House of Rest. We are a Christian TV station airing spiritual, nourishing, and morally shaping content. To advertise your product and service or book a preaching session with us, call us on 0745 849622 or 0722358590. You can also email us at nisitv2020@gmail.com. Nisi Television, House of Rest.
Welcome back to Pass It On, a show that wants to make sure that you become a competent mentor, help you to figure out how to do a better job in terms of mentoring people. And they could be older people, it could be younger people, it could just people where you have more wisdom than them, you are more experienced in terms of helping them. How do you connect with them? What does that look like? Which is our conversation today. And before we went, we just talked about that one of the ways to connect with a young person is to actually be able to be consistent as a mentor, where you're always available and open. You are open, you're sharing your life, they're getting to figure out, that you're also a human being who's gone through these experiences. Like the way, Jesus was able to sympathize with us since he had gone through challenges like we do. The other one is being able to nurture, where you deliberately invest consistently in this person and you are showing them that you care for them. Then there is noticing where they are in terms of them being able to know, what, I know where you are. I can see your display of emotions. I can see what you're going through, challenges that you're facing. Next point on this conversation is what I call encourage. Now, one of the biggest challenges for a mentor is to be able to encourage their mentee. In life and has a way of beating us about, in terms of maybe you're going through, you're a single man and you're trying to figure out life. You may have more negatives than positive. You're going through, you're trying to, look for a job, or you have found a job, you're struggling with your supervisor. In life, you probably have challenges in your relationship or in your marriage, and you're trying to figure out what you need to do. So most of the time, life has stresses and, things that are pressing you, issues, challenges. And one of the biggest role for a mentor is actually to encourage. And encourage is two ways. One is pour courage. Give them the ability to know, give them the encouragement to know that they can make it. Telling them, no, I believe in you. I know you can go through this challenge. I know you're trying to make changes in your life. These are things you can be able to do. It's also, courage also has to do with being able to let them know, you know what, it's true you have these challenges, but this is one or two things you can do, or this is a progress you've made and good job, you've done it. You are here at point 1, now you're at 3. There's 20 to go, but guess what? You've made a 2-step progress. So you're doing very well. Encouragement also has to do with supporting them. To know that, when you meet a hurdle, I am present for us to talk and process. I'm able to give you ideas, appreciating when they think well, when they give a great idea. It's also part of noticing the progress that they see, but being able to point it out. I remember when we were growing up, and this is something that, we've shared in different forums, where most parents used to meet their children at the point of discipline. Many children growing up did not have parents who used to tell them, I'm rewarding you for being a good son or daughter. You've done very well. You deserve this. And they gave them a present or something. Most of the time it was, you're being spanked or you're being worked on, beaten because of the mistakes that you did. And one of the paradigm shifts for mentors is to not just correct the things that are not going well, or where there's no progress, or where you're disappointed, but in being able to notice and to speak about and make a big deal out of things that they are doing very well. Every mentor, every mentee wants to see progress in their own lives. So if they're only reminded of the issues that they have, they really don't feel that you're actually understanding them and you're encouraging them. So one of the things you can be able to do is to say this, you know what, I'll make sure in my journey, there's something I call a sandwich, that even if you're going to correct, is to be able to say something positive that they've done that you acknowledge, and then you bring correction and rebuke on an area that they are not doing very well. And then also being able to bring something good that they are doing. So when they measure the correction you've given, they realize that there are two sides that they've done very well. People naturally feel not good about themselves. So one of the biggest, mentors is you're the biggest fan. You're encouraging them, you're supporting them. And I can give amazing testimonies, of men, in my life who just, encouraged me. Sometimes I thought, one time I remember I was made a leader, as an assistant youth leader, home church leader rather. And when I was doing that ministry, I used to feel I'm not sufficient. I don't know what to do. How do I change? How do I do things? But this, mentor of mine will come and say, Ernest, this was very good. The way you led that meeting, that was amazing. You did it very well. Next time, can you maybe, invite some people to give a comment or, ask questions so that people can clarify? Yes. But I also liked how you, engage this person and you are able to give a Bible verse to this. And so in my leadership, I had to realize, you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. I started to realize, so I actually did two things very well, but I need to improve on one. I was encouraged. He poured courage, showed me that I could do it. And remember also, part of mentorship is being able to know what does God want this person to become or to do or to grow. So as a mentor, as you're just thinking about this person, is to also see how can I encourage them in the assignment? How can I encourage them? As they are going through just, the highs and the lows, during their lows, how can I encourage? And how can I help them? And their highs, how can I give them direction so that they maintain the same pace? So you need to be able to encourage. The next one is care. And care has a couple of words. One is be patient. If you're going to mentor young people, they have challenges. You will need to be patient. Wait for them. Sometimes they don't do very well. Sometimes they don't keep the time they need to. Sometimes they have those challenges of figuring out. You need to be patient with them. They say Rome was not built in a day. So building the life of a person and participating in the work of God, in the life of a person, which is what we call mentorship, is you may need to be patient with them as they're trying to figure out, give them time to work on, correct them, journey with them. You also need to forgive them because they will offend you. And this is one of the challenges when you've done a mentorship trainings. A lot of people say, I did my best, I gave to this, but they never honored. In fact, I remember one bishop saying that I invested in a young man who I thought could carry the vision and could continue. And when I invested and I gave them openings and networks, they misused. And I made a decision. I will never do it again. And some of us who came after that mentor lost. Because, in parachurch ministry, there are those people who you see they are key, they can help you move your ministry. And for this person, they said, you know what, I invested, I'm tired. So, you know what, you need to forgive. In fact, you need to forgive beforehand because they will make mistakes. The next one, therefore, is also understanding and being non-judgmental. Understanding is remembering how you are when you're that age. For example, if you're journeying with, a couple and they're in their first 5 years of marriage, and they will make mistakes. The young man who's now married wants to show that they are the man, and they want to command and all those things. And that marriage and leadership is servanthood. And they may be saying, how they are the ones who are right. Being able to just be patient and understanding the season that they are. And being able to, because you understand, you've been there, you've done that, being able to show them, by the way, if you try this or you try it and you fail 2 times, maybe it's time to change strategy. Because if you don't change strategy, these are the results. And just working with them. And also not being judgmental. You have tried to tell you and you're not listening. So what's the point of keeping on telling you, I'm done with you? So being able to say, you know what, you're growing, you're making progress. It's slow, but sure. It's a plant, it's growing, it's gonna bring fruit, but it may need a bit of time. And especially we say, if you want to plant a tree, If you want to hear, a harvest for now, just plant maize. If you want, like, a harvest in 5 years, maybe you need to plant something else. But if you want to plant, maybe you want to harvest in 10 years, maybe avocados. But if you want to harvest for a lifetime, you need to plant in people. And planting people means empowering them and journeying with them until they actually stand by themselves. And the last one there for us is, so we said, you need to be consistent, you need to be open, you need to nurture, you need to notice, you need to encourage, you need to care for them, but then you need to talk to God. One of your biggest challenges in mentoring people is being able to connect. And connect means this. It means you need to talk to God. Talking to God means every time you're going to mentor, you pray. Let me put it this way. Mentorship is participating in the work of God in the life of someone. And if you're participating, it means that you must know the agenda, or you need to have a clue of the agenda that God has. And one of the things you can do is to consistently go to God and ask him, what does this look like? What does this young person need? What does this couple need? What does this professional, need? My background is journalism. If I am mentoring someone who's coming in journalism, I must be able to challenge them and show, figure out, what does God want them to do in their lives? What does he have? What are some of the challenges they face? And being able to say, Lord, I pray for them. I remember when I was here, and hear God, what does he want in the life of this person? The other side of that conversation, in fact, prayer is so vital in mentoring because it gives you the right focus. You're not trying to replicate yourself in the life of this person. You're essentially trying to make sure that they are their own unique being, and you as a coach, you as a mentor, you as a friend is giving wisdom, is supporting, ensuring they become the best of who they are. And if you don't have prayer, then the focus may be, why can they be like me? Why can they do like me? And they may not necessarily do like you because they are different, but because you're present, as you pray for them, you'll get the right perspective. The other side of that conversation is prayer also helps because you won't feel alone. Sometimes mentoring and journeying with people is difficult. I remember one time I was journeying with a young man who's now a pastor. And he had, during the time he was in college, he had huge relationship challenges. In fact, almost every month they would meet and he's like, oh, Anna, sorry, last month, but I went and I, and I was like, oh God, we keep on talking about this every time. Will we continue to just talk about this? But when I was praying for them, I started to realize that that's actually a season they are in and they are trying to do their best. They have these challenges and so I used to actually ask God, help me to help this young person. Give me patience. Help me to encourage them. Help me to show them the way they need to go. And over time, I started to realize that I also needed to grow in my patience as a mentor in as much as I was journeying with them. But the other beauty of that side is my perspective. I felt I'm not alone. I'm not trying to journey with this person alone. I'm not trying to make it mechanical. There are certain things God will do in the life of this person because I'm praying for their success. I'm praying for them to get perspective. I'm praying for them to get understanding. I'm praying for them that the knowledge I've given to them, that they can be able to remove the bones and eat the meat. And so it used to give me encouragement to know I'm not alone. I'm not mentoring alone. It's not just an issue that if I don't make it work, it will not work. No, there's already someone who has an assignment for this person, and I am coming in alongside to support that work. The other side that, that talking to God, why it's important, is that talking to God is also a resource that gives us balance. Because then you are able to know, because you prayerfully consider the sessions you're going to have, what to say, where to push, where to go. So you're able to have balance of encouragement and correction, being able to lift them up, but being able to also help them deal with things that they need to have. The other side of that conversation is perspective. Because, I may think this is the direction I need to go today. But then when I meet that person, I realize they are not where I thought they were. And so, because I've prayed, I'm able to get perspective of how do I, what are insights I need? What does the Holy Spirit want me to do in the life of this person, or say, or give us an example, because he will teach me as I'm teaching this young person. So I get to get the divine perspective about journeying with them. And the other side of that conversation is strength. You get to have strength to, you're sometimes tired, remember some young men used to call me around 1 a.m. and I'm like, oh, I would prefer to be asleep. But because they have called, I'm like, Lord, give me strength to be able to handle this thing. This conversation may take 1.5 hours, but guess what? Give me strength to be able to do this. What am I trying to say? If you're gonna journey with a young person, you need to connect with them. And these are opportunities that you can be consistent in it, you can be open, you can nurture, you can notice, you can encourage, you can talk to God. There are certain things you can be able to do. And I said it begins with love. In the next episode, we're going to talk about how love looks like and what aspects of love. But I want to leave you with this. Have you connected with a young person? Are there certain young people who are in your lives? And I said young means somebody who needs your wisdom so that you can be able to journey with them. Are there things you can do to be able to help this young person? What are areas you're struggling in being able to connect with young people? Are there areas you're struggling with consistency? Are there maybe you're struggling in being open? Are there places where you're struggling to nurture and care for them? In terms of be willing to provide an atmosphere where they can feel they are accepted and loved and they can open up their lives. Are you struggling to notice where this person you're trying to mentor is? Are there opportunities where you're struggling maybe to care? Where how do you practically demonstrate love so that they actually know by patience, forgiving, all those qualities that are needed in mentorship? Are there places where you struggle to pray for this person that you're mentoring? So where would you place yourself in those areas? And I can tell you this, mentorship is not difficult. You can begin where you are. You can connect with young people. The other side of this conversation, and maybe as we come to the conclusion of this, are there opportunities you have to journey with some young people that you can connect with? Are there some people in your home, maybe your own children, if you're a parent, that you need to connect with? Are there maybe you live in a neighborhood and there are certain young people that are there and they need your wisdom and they need your direction and they're trying to, they need someone who can bring a conversation. Are you struggling to connect with them? Are there also opportunities that you have to actually connect in the neighborhood? Call a few young people, say, come over, let's do some lunch, let's do some tea, let's chat. Are you able to even throw in words of encouragement? I like this, you look very nice, and bring mentorship conversations. Are there people where you work that need your wisdom? They just got employed and they need people who can journey with them. And you can be able to, deliberately invest. In fact, I usually say in our trainings that if you see a young person asking, how are you doing? And they keep on, periodically asking you what's happening, how's life, and all those things. They're actually saying, mentor me. Are there people in your community, maybe where you go to church, and they are there and they're available? And, when's the last time you actually said, what, I'm a professional, I'm in this career profession. Can I look for one or two who are in the same category and journey with them? How are you connecting? Without connection, mentorship will never begin. And guess what? Young people are looking. Mentees, people who are going through challenges, are looking for people who can journey with them. And so what we are saying is, you need to pass it on. You need to pass that wisdom. You need to connect so that they can know you are available, you care, and being able to do that. So maybe you have questions when we like we have, in our channels and the opportunities we have on the platforms, pass it on ECTV, just share any question you have, maybe a topic you feel we should talk about. Do you have a topic that you feel, I think you can also address this? Maybe you feel, you started your mentorship and you're probably struggling. We have our numbers there and you can reach us and we can be able to have that conversation. And probably you're thinking, I wish somebody would help me deal with this issue in my mentorship relationship that would make me a better mentor. Or maybe you're in a church and you're thinking, do we need a session or a forum where we can actually discuss this? You know what? The need is very huge and you can be able to plug in and mentor. I always leave you with this challenge. You can pick 4 young people. If you're a man, once a week, 1 hour, and journey with a young person. 4-on-1 mentorship is basically, pick, week 1 you pick Matthew, week 2 you pick Mark, week 3 you pick John, week 4 you pick Luke, and you journey with them 1 hour a week for 1 year. Could be a lady, pick Joyce, Jane, Judy, Joanne. Once a week, 1 hour. Invest in them. Help them figure what life looks like. Because again, if we don't do these things, how will those young people, how will they discover that wisdom? Why should they repeat your mistakes? And you are there. So you have a great opportunity to be able to mentor. And I conclude this conversation. You have a huge opportunity to connect with the young people, with someone who needs your wisdom, and you can begin today. Your biggest responsibility, if you are thinking about legacy and leaving a memory, is to pass it on. It's part of your legacy, it's part of your success, because the people who will remember who you are the people that you invested in. So looking forward to see you next week. This was a good conversation with us as we talk about, love next week. Reach out to us, on those platforms we've shared. So just remember, connect. Make sure you're consistent, you're open, you nurture, you notice, you encourage, you care, and you talk to God about young people. Have a good evening.